Hello, welcome back. I'm Ruben. I'm so glad that you decided to join me another day on our journey of self-improvement. Today we're going to talk about the mind-body connection. Now this is a little bit more advanced. I'm sure that many of you will be fine with this, but if you were in a state like I was in, which I would consider rock bottom, then you may want to go back to my other videos and start working on bringing a little bit of mindfulness into your life. Not that this would hurt you in any way, but I found it very hard to do such things where I was at. So I don't know if that applies to you. Now with that said, I will discuss more about this technique at the end of the video. But right now, let's get into a routine that I do virtually every morning. And sometimes I do it multiple times during the day. I did get this from another guy on YouTube, most of it. I have modified it for my own personal needs, and I will link to him down below. He runs a great channel. So the first thing we want to do, if you're like me, you have a lot of tension in your neck and your shoulders and your arms from years of hunched over a computer, obsessively, whatever, playing video games, slouching on the phone, all of this stuff. And so we need to open up those muscles. So we're going to take our hands, open them up, put them at our sides so they're facing forward, palms forward. We take our hips, kind of bring them forward a little bit, tighten our stomach, and we're just going to flap our arms back and forth. And everything we do, you do kind of want to flex your stomach, but you don't want to flex it down like this. You want to flex it back, like you're pulling your belly towards your back. So if someone came up and punched you in the stomach, gave you a little tap, you would kind of be ready to absorb it. So we're just going to go back and forth with our arms. Okay. Kind of like we're flapping wings here. And now you only have to do this, once or how many times. So I do kind of like to myself go through twice. Like I said, I spent a lot of time doing a lot of dumb stuff, playing too many video games, slouched over, sitting on a computer, mindlessly scrolling, slouched over. So I need to open up a lot in this chest, shoulder area. Okay, so we got that done. Next thing we're gonna do is we're simply gonna focus on kind of the biceps and the shoulder area here. We're going to take this arm, flip it up, take this arm, go like this. And what I like to do is kind of look at my open arm so I'm getting a little bit of neck motion. So here, 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 here. Let's go back and forth. Real simple. And none of these should be causing you any pain. If you have any pain, of course, please stop, right? Don't do them that hard, I just go ahead and get a nice, good little twist here. Everything feels good. Okay, felt pretty good for me. Now the next thing I like to interject into this is to do a couple quick neck stretches for me, because again, I carry a lot of tension up here. So what you do, take your head, instead of doing, this is kind of like a neck roll, but my neck is pretty bad because I had really bad posture. So I don't like doing neck rolls too much. So what you can do instead is you just place your chin down to your chest and you simply just lift your shoulders up. Lift them down, bring them forward, bring them back. Point your head up. And essentially you're doing the same thing as a neck roll, but you don't have to pivot around on your neck. And if you do this, I actually can do a neck roll pretty good now, if I want. But I'm like, hey, this is what got me there. So I continue to do this. And your head to the other side, up, down, forward, back, down to the right, up, down, forward, back, down to the left, up, down, forward, back, up and to the left, up, down, forward, back. Oh, up and to the right, sorry. Up, down, forward, back. Really simple. The next one we're going to do is just a little bit of opening up our hips and our sides. And so you just kind of take your hands, imagine you got a golf club back here, but you just kind of get your hands like this, and we're going to point this foot, it's going to be straight, this foot's going to be about 45 degrees, and we're just going to swing open. Okay. Okay, really just kind of opening things up. And then we're gonna just turn our feet And we're gonna come the other way. And kind of just pull things back, right? And we're kind of opening up our chest, but we're also pivoting on this back foot, and we're getting that stretch right through here, and I can feel it. Yesterday I did a workout that kind of got me here, so that felt really good. And now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna take it down to the mat a little bit. First thing we like to do, and if you cannot do this, you just go down as far as you can. When I first started doing the mind-body connection, I could not touch my toes. I was not even close, okay? So you wanna warm up the back of your legs. Please keep a micro bend in your knees if you need to, okay? Because if you have straight legs and you don't have flexibility and you force it, you can hurt yourself. So I still, to this day, I have pretty good flexibility now after a lot of stretching, but I still like to keep a micro bend. So we're just gonna simply go down, kind of hinge at the hip. So let me just show you that hinge. I just wanna make sure I do it right? Okay, we're gonna touch the ground if we can. And then we're gonna do something called an elephant walk. Bend the knee, bring it back, bend the other knee, bring it back. And this is just gonna kind of warm up the back of our legs. And again, you just do it where you're accessible at. Do it wherever you feel okay at. Don't strain or hurt yourself. We're just warming our body up. If you're here, you're here. You can come down here, it's fine, okay? And we're just gonna walk our hands over to the left a little. Get a stretch in here, the side. That really feels good. Oh man. Then we're gonna come back here. This leg is always really tight for me behind the leg, so I'm always kind of careful with keeping just a little bit of a micro bend. When I come back, I'll kind of straighten a little bit, but not 100% like the left leg. And then let's just come back to the front. Try to get a little bit extra in there for a deeper reach. And then just a couple more. Oh, yeah, this feels good. Always opens things up. Okay, so that's that. We're gonna take that now into a downward dog. You can see all these yoga instructors on YouTube that do tremendously awesome downward dogs. I'm not one of them, but it's a great move. So what we're gonna do, downward dog, if you haven't done it before, you basically just kind of get long and then you push through your shoulders and you try to push your chest towards your knees. So you're not arching your back, you're trying to push down, okay? With your upper body. So see, like this is not a downward dog. You push down like you're pushing your chest towards your knees. And then with your shoulders, you still try to keep them away from your ears. Get super long. And now let's just kind of, love this pedaling of the legs. Oh man, it feels great in the morning. I used to not be able to do any of this effectively, right? My body, I just abused it all the time. I ignored it. But the human body is so amazing. It recovers. It will recover, I promise you. If you do the work, you treat it well, it will recover, okay? Let's kind of come into a static downward dog for a little bit. Okay, and then what we're gonna do from here, you're gonna come forward over your hands, and we're gonna come up. And if this is not accessible for you, you can kind of put your feet down on the ground like this, and just come wherever you can, okay? Now, if you need to put your hands out, come here, that's fine, but we're just gonna do a little back bend, okay? Of course, if it hurts, don't worry, I'm doing it like this. I'm gonna roll back through the spine, articulate, go back, okay, roll forward. So this would be a upward dog, a variation of it, because you can see I'm on my toes. I'm getting a little bit of more weight on it because I wanna, on my toes, just kind of wake them up. Now we just do a few of these. Come back to our downward facing dog. I'm gonna walk our feet together like Frankenstein. And this is the toughest one for me. I sprained my ankle a billion times growing up. I'm gonna do a squat. Straighten the legs, come back, downward facing dog. Maybe do a couple pedals if you need after the squat.
My kids always laugh at me because they're like, the squat is the easiest part. I'm like, oh my gosh, for me it's the hardest. My ankles are tight, but they're a lot better than they used to be. I used to not be able to do a squat unless I had like 3-inch space between my heel and the ground. Now I can, not a great squat, but you know, it's doable. Okay. Did that so that would hit almost everything. I want to add on one more thing, and that is my wrist. My wrists are terrible. I do have carpal tunnel, okay? And so I like to make sure that my wrists are warmed up in the morning. What you do is put your wrist down in front of you. I like to tuck my toes too, get a little stretch on them. Kind of just come gently back and forward onto your wrist. And let's roll it out here. Okay. Let's roll the other way. Okay, and now when we're at that point, only do this if you can. If you have pain or something, I will make a wrist video to show you some more beginner stuff that you can do. But what I like to do now, keep my wrists warm up. I take them, my hands, and I rotate them out. I put them down. You can put them wherever is accessible for you. If you're just a beginner, just put it down here. I got more flexibility now, so I put them out in front of me. Push down into them. No pain. This is not a pain. And then you push through your biceps forward. Now let's make your spine long. I can feel my spine curve, so I'm just tucking my stomach in, pulling my head forward. And you just stay here. So if we were going to do this, I do this at nighttime too. And when I do that, when I have a timer for this, and maybe I'll do a video about that. But right in the morning, I just kind of like to get a little bit warm up. I'm going to lean back on them just a little bit, get a little stretch here, a little dynamic stretching. Okay? And then I'm going to take them, shake them out, and I'm going to flip them over. And again, for this one, if you got to come back here, it's easier, that's fine. I put it out a little bit front now. And when you're doing this, you don't put a ton of weight on your wrist. That's not the point. The point is to put a little bit of weight on your wrist and then use the stretch and then push your arms out. So right now, I don't know if you can see, but from the shoulder, I'm pushing my elbows out. Okay? We're just gonna kind of bend into that a little bit. Yeah, feels good. Okay. And that's what we got, right? That's the routine. It's very simple. I don't know how long it took, maybe about 8-10 minutes. And you just do that in the morning and it can get you going, okay? It's a really good, simple one. There's other things we can do. I will share those with you. Real quick, I do want to talk about the mind-body connection in relation to this channel. Why am I showing you this? Well, mind-body is one of the most important things. You see, one of the issues that I had is that for like literally 15 some years, most of my adult life, but the last 15 years were the worst, I didn't want to live in my body. I would do, I didn't want to feel anything, right? My whole life was about numbing my feelings through stimming addictive behaviors, right? I sit there, I play video games mindlessly for hours, crunched over, right? I didn't care because I didn't want to feel my body. I was just blacking out the world. I go out and I would drink alcohol in a bad way, end up puking. I must have puked 1,000 times in my life. I know that sounds disgusting, but it's true. I look back, it's unbelievable. Right? Just doing these types of things. Why? Numbing behavior. I didn't want to feel my body. Whenever I was in my body, whenever I was here and now, I had so much anxiety, so much stress, and I couldn't handle it. I wasn't okay with it. So when I started my journey a year ago, and I was like, I gotta get better, right? It was just like, and I remember there's this one point in it where I said, I'm doing all these things, these mindfulness tricks, and I was getting better, but I just couldn't stand being in my body, right? And I even said out loud, to no one in particular, I said, I just can't take it. I don't want to feel anything anymore, right? Because I had a pain in my knee, I had a pain over here, I had a pain in my shoulder, I had a pain in my neck, and I wasn't accepting any of it, right? I wouldn't accept it. And I just shouted out, I don't want to feel anything anymore, Boom, light bulb went off, right? Light bulb moment. Because I had read something in the book before. When I read it, I never processed it. But this time it came to my head, and it talked about the need to be comfortable in your own body. And so I said, okay, this is obviously what they're talking about. I'm not comfortable in my own body. But to be comfortable in my own body, I need to at least help my body along. And that's where I started doing yoga and stretching. And at first I couldn't do yoga because I was so bad. Everything hurt so much. I had no flexibility at all. So I started doing gentle stretching, okay? So this is the mind-body technique. And for me, I wasn't able to jump into it right away. I had to do mindfulness first, okay? I have those videos, but mind-body technique is mind-body connection is extremely important. So I hope that you understand why I'm bringing these kind of videos in. And if you want to see more, let me know. Otherwise, all of you have a great day.